Hi, everyone. We are going to get started now, and I would love if somebody could just write in the Q&A that they can hear me so I can make sure that I am, oh, maybe I'm not heard. Hi, everyone. I might have been on mute there. I want to make sure that everyone can hear me. So if you're in the Q&A and perfect, you can hear me. Thank you. Perfect. We're going to get started now, and I'm excited. Oops, I keep doing that. I'm excited to be part of this presentation. Thank you to Poets&Quants for inviting collegeMission to talk about how to convey fit in your college essays. Is a very, very timely presentation because many college applicants are looking at schools now, and I know that all the sessions today are focusing on business programs at colleges around the country and really the world. So we're going to focus our talk today around that as well. Just a little background on me. I am named Rachel Beck, and I'm a senior consultant at collegeMission, where I help people execute their college essays. I've been doing this for decades. I formerly was a journalist with the Associated Press, where I spent 18 years as reporter, editor, and columnist. And I joined our sister company, MBA Mission, in 2011 and have helped thousands of people apply to the top MBA programs. And a few years ago, we launched collegeMission, where we focus solely on college essays and helping people execute those. So we're really excited to be here tonight. We, meaning me. So this is our roadmap for the next half hour. First, where do I begin, right? Everybody wants to know, where do I begin? How do I even start this process? So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about where does the brainstorming lead you, which I think is important. I'll give some tips on how to research schools. This always seems to be a question that I get, like, I don't know where to begin, Rachel, so I'm going to help you figure that out. I'm going to talk a little bit about writing effective essays and showcasing this fit in the essays, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about collegeMission, and we'll do, if we have any time, we'll do a Q&A. If you want to ask me any questions, you can in the Q&A box, but please note that I probably won't take a look at that until the end, and we're on a very, very tight time clock, so I don't even know if I'll get to everybody's questions, so just please note that. Okay, so where do I begin? The essays. The essays, everyone feels, is such a hurdle in the application process, but you have to look at it another way. You have full control over the essays that you are going to write. You don't have full control over your GPA. Even if you're a great student, you know, you might not have a perfect GPA. It's very hard to get a perfect score on standardized tests, and it's hard to even get into standardized tests these days with COVID shutting a lot down. You don't have full control over your recommenders, right? You wish you do, but you don't, right? They can write what they want. So the essays are a place where you can really control exactly what is said about you. And that's really powerful, right? That you have this thing that you are going to control in the application process. It gives you an opportunity to tell more about yourself. Some of the essays will let you talk about your values, some about your character, some about your personality, what's meaningful to you. And especially when you're writing about if the school's a right fit, that comes into play. Like, this is really meaningful to me. You can utilize the essays to differentiate yourself from other people, right? Like, if you really spend a lot of time thinking about how to position yourself in the essays, there's definitely people who haven't spent a lot of time thinking about that. So that's something very, very important. It's one piece of the puzzle, right? The essays are one piece. You have your GPA and your standardized tests and your recommendation and your extracurriculars, but it can be a way to tie a lot of pieces together. So keep that in mind. So what is our timeline, right? Oh God, Rachel, when am I supposed to even do these essays? I'm in my senior year and it's so busy. I understand. I have 2 teenagers living in my house too, so I get it. Don't delay. It's September 15th. It's time to start now. You have to start now. For a lot of schools, early decision or early action will begin in early November. Some schools will be November 1st. Some will be sooner than that. So make sure you really look at the calendar. Regular decision for many schools will be January 1st or around that time. So you have to kind of know what your timeline is. And that's something you could hang up tonight and go look. These are the schools I'm interested in. This is the timeline. Just think about what's ideal, right? So we say the common application essay. And for those of you who might not be familiar with the common application essay, typically schools ask you to write kind of a big, long essay that's more personal about yourself, and that's considered the common app essay. There's also a coalition app. It depends which the school uses. But we usually say that takes 4 to 6 weeks. If you're doing the math, that already gets you to November 1st. So it can't take that long, just so you know. And you want to leave time for revisions. You want to really give yourself the opportunity to really work on it. Many schools then also have a supplemental essay. They're all over the map. Some dig into who you are personally. Some will ask you questions about activities you've been involved in, and many will ask you questions of why this school, and that's what we're tackling today. Remember this last line: rushed essays feel rushed. You do not want to be working on your essays the night before they're due, because they will feel that way. You won't have time to let them breathe. I say to my clients all the time, let's write this and then let's take a few days and then let's read it again, and we will see things that we like and we don't like in that process. So as I've kind of already mentioned, start by making a spreadsheet with the essay questions. Put down what the common app questions are in the spreadsheet. Then by school, put what is required of the supplemental essays. Do they have a why our school question? Do they have other kinds of questions? This will also let you see where there could be commonalities. Like maybe you are writing an essay for one school and it's a very similar question for another school, right? So if you have your spreadsheet done, you can very easily color code what's what, right? And you might have 6 schools that have the why our school essay. Those 6 schools will be very, very different, right? You're not going to write the exact same thing because they'll have different courses and different programs, et cetera, but you might be able to use the same tactics in your research. So keep that in mind. So here are the common application questions. I'm not focusing on these today. They're really important to look at when you're working on your applications. You can see the first one is the most popular one that people use, which is some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, please share your story. Many people use that, but there's all different kinds of questions here: solving a problem, realization that sparked a period of personal growth. The last one is anything you want to write about. So know that there's a lot of opportunity. Moving to this, here are some examples of supplemental essays that you might come across. The first one for University of Wisconsin: tell us why you'd like to attend the University of Wisconsin-Madison. In addition, please include why you were interested in studying the majors you have selected. If you selected undecided, please describe your area of possible academic interest. Here's UPenn, which is how did you discover your intellectual and academic interests, and how will you explore them at University of Pennsylvania? Please respond considering the specific undergraduate school you have selected. So what you can see in the first question is you're not just writing about this is what I want to major in, but you're also looking at the community that surrounds University of Wisconsin that would bring in extracurricular activities, diversity, etc. Same for Penn in the second question. So when you begin this brainstorming process, it takes a while. It's not like you can just start writing the essays. So you want to start thinking about the ideas. And when we're putting together the why school essays, you're going to sit down, you're going to do research. So create a file where you can build your ideas over time, right? So if you're building that spreadsheet, start putting notes in the spreadsheet so you can go back to that over and over. You should anticipate that your research is going to take some time. It's going to take not a day, not a weekend, but maybe over the course of 2 weeks that you're going to create kind of this brainstorming document that you'll use over and over again. So now let's just talk a little bit about how you research schools, because it's a question that I get often. So you have to just begin somewhere, right? And so beginning on the school's websites is a great place to begin. Start with the simplest question of all: where's this school located, right? Some of you will say, I only want to go to a school that I can drive to, right? I don't want to get on a plane to go to college. So consider that. Some people might say, I really want to be in New York City. I really want to be in Los Angeles. I really want to be in Miami. Or I really don't want to be in a big city and I want to have a traditional college experience with a campus. So that's a very good first place to begin. Then you want to think about, well, what's the size of the school? How is this going to impact, my experience in college? So think about, and you can find this research right on the school's website, how many students are in a class, right? So both overall and at the business school additionally, right? Because if you want to be a business major, you care a lot about how big your class is. You might want to also look at what the student to teacher ratio is, right? So if it's a lower number, that means you get more personalized attention. And so that's something just to keep in mind. But you want to start getting to know the school. Then you want to ask yourself, does the school offer courses that interest me, or does it offer a major that I want to dive into? Open the course catalog. I don't mean like physically open it, but I mean go onto the website. And if you're really interested in marketing, go look and make sure that there are really interesting classes in marketing that you are going to want to take. You want to also look at what the requirements are at the school. They're not just going to let you show up and only take business classes. They're going to have some kind of curriculum that you're going to have to follow. Some schools have a lot of requirements before you start taking a single business class. Others don't. What works for you? And then an important component of figuring out why this is the right school for you, or figuring out the fit, is what extracurricular activities are available. Are there things on campus that stand out to you? So this is how you begin your research. As I write on the bottom of this slide, something very, very important. Since there is no school visitations right now, right? We are living in this like quasi shutdown world. The schools have done an amazing job of building up their virtual presence. There's online tours, there are information sessions, there's coffee chats with students. Sign up for everything and attend everything, and don't blow it off. The schools are keeping track of how much time you're spending on their website. That doesn't mean like keep your computer on for 4 hours. Like that doesn't help you. But they're keeping track, and they want to see that you're taking the time to learn about them. This is really, really, really important, because there's really no way you can go drive to a school and walk around, I think, but you won't be able to get into dorms, and you won't be able to do the same kind of interfacing that you had in the past. So this last part is very important as you head out on this journey. So here are just a few examples of schools that I did quick research on, just to show you that not every school offers the same thing. So at NYU Stern, there's about 600 students in a class every year. So it's about 2,400 students or so in the undergrad business school. It's located in Greenwich Village in the heart of New York City. So if this school is attractive to you, you have to want to live in New York City, right? That's part of it. And there's a lot of great things of living in New York City. You could do internships, you're close to alumni, there's an excitement of being in New York. This program, you don't have a major. You get a bachelor's in business from this program, but you can have a concentration in 2 areas. And there's a lot of different things you can have, like I just jotted down a few: accounting, computing and data sciences, marketing, sustainable business. I love that. That's kind of a new major that's popping up in undergrad business schools. There's no separate application for Stern. So you're applying just through NYU undergraduate admissions. But as you can see here, the question is going to ask you why you want to apply to Stern. So the question asks, we'd like to know more about your interest in NYU. We're particularly interested in knowing what motivated you to apply to NYU, and more specifically, why you've applied or expressed interest in a particular campus, school, college, program, and or area of study. If you apply to more than one, please tell us why you're interested in each of these campuses, schools, colleges, programs to which you've applied. We want to understand why NYU. It's pretty focused there. Now we're looking at McCombs School of Business at University of Texas at Austin, which is a very highly ranked school. I actually visited there a few years ago through work and was really, really impressed. They have a brand new building. It's kind of the opposite of NYU, right? It's a traditional business school on a college campus that's really beautiful in an amazing city. It's bigger, right? It has 1,000 students per class, so that's a big difference. It's located in Austin, Texas, which is an awesome town in Texas that has a lot to offer the students at the business school, including lots of internships, and the school really utilizes the immediate area as an extension of the classroom. So with this degree, you get a bachelor's in business administration, which is known as a BBA, and you can pick from one of 10 majors. So there's a lot of different majors you can choose from: professional accounting, management information systems, supply chain management, marketing, finance, etc. Again, there's no separate application for McCombs. Students apply through undergraduate admissions with the questions that you see here. And lastly, of my little journey of doing research, we have the Wharton School at University of Pennsylvania, which is a top-ranked undergrad business program. Many, many famous leaders in the world have gone to Wharton undergrad. The business school also is amazing, as is the business school of the other two schools I've mentioned. So about 500 students in a class per year. It's located in Philadelphia. Like New York, there's a lot of opportunity to utilize the local area to learn. Graduates get a BS degree, Bachelor of Science. Again, there's no majors, but you can pick concentrations from 20 different areas. You can also customize your own concentration. So that's, I think, a great thing. And as I read this question before, but you're going to apply through UPenn undergraduate admissions. So that was just a little bit of how you could research the school. So how do you learn more? I talked about this a little bit in one of the earlier slides, but you really want to dive deep into the courses available and really think about what stands out to you, what syncs with your interests. I understand when you're 17 or 18 years old, it's really hard to know, like, what's important to me. But if you're applying to an undergrad business program, you've clearly thought that business is something that you want to learn more about. So why and what areas might interest you? Look at the requirements for each year. I mentioned this a little bit before too. Some schools have very, very rigid core requirements, while others let you branch out a little bit more quickly into the business school. What suits you best, right? I've seen some schools that have like pretty intense science requirements and humanities requirements and foreign language requirements. And if you're somebody who doesn't want to have all that time spent doing that, then that might not be the right school for you. Or you're really trying to get a well-rounded education, and while you want to learn a lot about business, you also want to enhance other areas as well. So that's the thinking behind it. The third point is connect with students who attend the program, right? This is easy. We live in a world of social media. Everybody knows people who go to every school, it feels like. Don't be shy. Shoot them an email, DM them on Instagram, try and connect with people and just ask them, what do you love about this program? What stands out to you? And they'll tell you things. They will tell you things that you won't be able to read online and you won't be able to read in College Confidential and all that other stuff. By talking to people about their experiences, you're learning things from people who are literally on the ground in these programs, and your application will show that. And I think that's really important. Also, since you're applying to a undergrad business program, you might want to start thinking about your career goals. I understand it's far away, right? It's four years away before you would enter the workforce, but it's not so far away if you'd want to start getting an internship, et cetera. So you want to begin to be able to articulate what matters to you in terms of career. And I think really an important component here is what is the extracurriculars that the school offers. There's so many things these college campuses have, and how do they relate to you? So let's say you were in student government in high school, maybe Emory has a great BBA council. I think it does have a great BBA council. And that might be something that you ultimately decide you want to participate in. So you're relating your past to your future, and schools really like that. Maybe you're somebody who was really involved in Special Olympics in high school, and you want to become a leader on the school's Special Olympics program. Great, that relates your past to your future. But you want to see if there are things that just really stand out to you, because you're not just writing about wanting to be a business major and why that's important, but why this is the right community for you. Why our school isn't just about, I want to take these accounting classes. It's about why it feels like the right community for you. So remember that. That's really important. So how do we write effective essays? I think the word essay trips a lot of high school students up because they think that they're writing they're writing a history paper where they need, the opening paragraph, 3 supporting paragraphs, and a closing paragraph. And that's not what college essays are. They're really narratives. They're really stories that you're telling the admissions committee. Even when expressing fit or the why school essays, you want to make them very readable. You want the admissions committee, when reading it, to feel like you've really connected with the school, and that's important. So let's say you have your essay idea, right? You've done your research and now you're ready to start writing. What do you do, right? So first of all, you want to organize your ideas and you want to put them in an outline form. You don't want to, excuse me, just start writing. You want to make sure that you really know the points you want to hit. Once you do your outline and look it over, then you can start writing. And don't worry about the word count at this point. I mean, if it's a 250 word essay, you don't want to write 600 words because that means it will be very hard to cut it down. But if you write, 300 words, you're fine. Then you start revising and revising and revising and revising. I always suggest to my clients to keep the essay question on the top of the page that they're working on. So you're always go back and think, did I answer the question that they're asking me? You also want to think, did I leave something out, right, that you can add? Then you start cutting and cutting and cutting until you reach your word count, right? That 310 word essay has to come back down to 250. And then you put it down. You close the computer and you walk away and you start working on something else. And then you come back with what we call fresh eyes. And when you come back with the fresh eyes, you see things that you hadn't seen before. I also really suggest reading the essay out loud so you can hear that it's come alive. And I think that's really important. Just some writing tips quickly. We want to show versus tell, right? So when you tell, you say, I'm an initiator. When you show times that you've initiated something, so the reader walks away and says, wow, she's really an initiator, but you're not stuffing it in the person's face. I also really encourage my clients to write like they speak, right? Use words and phrases that sound like you. Now, for high school students, this does not mean write like you text. That's something that's very important. That also means you have to use upper and lowercase, and you have to use punctuation. I say this and I'm laughing a little, but I've worked with a lot of high school students who write like they text, and all caps doesn't work. And when I say short sentences, I mean sentences that are 10 words or less or so, but have meaning to them. So keep that in mind. Simple really is better because it relays more, right? When you start having commas and commas and commas, the reader is like wondering when the sentence is going to end. So as we put together the why school essay, and you're trying to connect or fit with your target school, some of the roadmap that you can take is obviously put some emphasis on academics, where you're going to focus your studies, what classes stand out to you. Oh, they have this experiential learning program at a investment fund, in Durham, North Carolina. I'm really excited to jump into that my junior year when they first start accepting applicants for that. Or I really want to focus on nonprofit management and the opportunity to do an in-semester internship second semester sophomore year in Chicago is something that really stands out to me. So you're looking at academics as well as some experiential learning opportunities. You'll also want to write about the culture and the community of the schools that you're interested in, the diversity of the campus, where students spend their free time, and extracurricular activities. You want to be very careful about just making generic statements that are meaningless. Like, I'm so excited to go to Tufts because it's awesome engineering program. That doesn't tell us anything about why Tufts is really a great choice for you. You also, as I mentioned before, want to kind of connect your past to your future. So if you were in student government, then you could say you want to be involved in a similar group during college. So here we have just, I'm going to give 2 examples. I'm going to kind of race through these because I'm running out of time. But so we have the first one, which is Lehigh University seems like the right fit for me because it offers so much academically and experientially. From talking with students on campus and a disproportionate number of adults in my life who are alumni, I see how Lehigh will let me achieve my goal of expanding my knowledge, not only in my major, but across many different disciplines. So the problem with this first example is it's pretty flat, right? It doesn't give a lot of examples. But when we jump to the second one, when I visited campus, the students I met told me excitedly about the hands-on projects they regularly complete and the internship and co-op opportunities they are looking forward to. I believe such experiences would prepare me to effectively apply what I learned in the classroom to real-world situations and truly make positive contributions. I'm fortunate to know several Lehigh alumni, and they've always spoken highly about the university's core values of academic freedom, collaboration, and intellectual curiosity. So you see from this example that in the second example, more research really paid off, right? It has greater depth. So just note that. So here we have my last example, which is we have Darren, who's always wanted to go to NYU Stern, and he did a lot of research about the school. So he sits down to write an answer to the NYU prompt, which is basically why NYU. And you can see here that Darren, and I'm sorry I'm kind of racing through this, but Darren brings in something from his past, right? That he really grew up in his parents' chain of stores and really got his first taste of business. But now as he looks toward his future, he really wants to go work on Wall Street. So he starts talking about some specifics relating to NYU, their core areas, liberal arts, business, and social impact, what they will offer him, and courses in particular, right? So NYU has these core areas, and then here are some courses, and then where he's going to kind of center his studies in the world of finance and name some specific courses that matter to him. Then he turns to the New York City location, right? Like that's really important if you're going to apply to NYU, and why this is such an important part of his college experience, and even throws in some good statistics here that he was impressed that 95% of graduating students who held a part-time job or internship during their college career at NYU Stern secured a job within the 6 months after graduating. Now, obviously that was pre-COVID, but it's a good statistic to have it there. And that really shows depth of research and shows you're really thinking about why this is a good fit. Also, NYU's strong connection to the local community stands out, and he did some work on what matters there, and he found this project outreach, which is something that he thought was really attractive. And then he finishes off why NYU. So that was a good way to show you that if you do the research, you can put it together and it can be a very compelling essay. So just quickly about collegeMission. We're a team of a lot of veterans in admissions consulting, and we are really focused on the niche market of helping applicants write their college essays. We're not college advisors. We basically pick up where they leave off. We really believe that we offer creative support through this part of the process that we're very, very versed in. Everybody who works with us on my team has some extensive writing experience, as well as business experience too, since we also do a lot of MBA work as well. We have different kinds of services. Go check out our website. We can help you just with your Common App. We can also help with the supplemental essays as well. And you can email info@collegemission.com for any more information, or check out our website at collegemission.com. And I just hit 8:30 on the dot. So thank you everyone for coming tonight. This presentation was recorded, and I believe you will receive a copy of it in a few days. Thanks so much.